So with that story, we segue into section 3. The mind is the foundation of everything. The mind, the greatest instrument that you have at your disposal. Take a pyramid, take a triangle. At the top layer, behaviors, what you do, what you say, what you try to portray. In the middle, there's emotions, how you feel under pressure, your reaction, your default settings. And then there's the bottom thick slab of the triangle, right? Your beliefs, your foundational beliefs. And for most parents, teachers, nannies, what we tell our eldest to do to model to our youngest, model good behavior, right? Or just I'll model good behavior by eating the same foods and right. I'll say the right things at home. I'll be polite. I'll take them to church. But if your mind is broadcasting the opposite, all those actions doesn't really transcribe and become the foundation and become the inheritance of who they become. How many people do you know go to church and take the kids to church and, forgive me for saying this, they are not a model of godly people. Fix your behaviors, fix the things you say. It doesn't really change much until it really just etches into your subconscious, right? You really have to believe it. And that's what I'm trying to lead to. It is not just the surface level actions, behaviors, things you do and say, but it has to be deeper than that. You have to have full faith because our kids are inheriting our frequency regardless of our behavior. So it's not about acting calm. It's about walking in that situation knowing full well God's got you, right? A more foundational, spiritual level belief. God's got me. Moving different. And it's tough. It's tough to do, right? When you change the foundation, everything reorganizes automatically. Your behaviors then become different, right? Everything at the top, higher level of those big beliefs start rearranging themselves. You change your outlook. Oh, God's got me. Then you walk into the situations feeling calm. Your emotions are different. Your behaviors, the things you say, the things you do, the things you respond with are different because you're not reactive. You're not acting out of fear, right? You can try to change your emotion, but if you don't have that underlying belief that God's got you, you can walk into the situation, then under fire, under pressure, you'll flip. So the actual work is changing foundational beliefs. And I want to segue into this. We've lost sight of these underlying beliefs. We don't know where we've gotten our beliefs, why we've gotten to who we are as a person, as an identity, as a consciousness, right? We don't know why we have certain beliefs. And that's why I want to remind you that attention is sacred. It is the battleground for spiritual warfare that you need. Because when you don't, you are being programmed. You're being programmed from the first very moment your mind and your eye gets exposed to something novel. And you see that when your kid watches a commercial for the first time or they see a scary figure from a movie trailer, right? They're being programmed. So you have to be very conscious of that. Because your attention, what you give focus to, becomes your belief. And if you're not taking the time to be a guardian of that, gatekeep, guard it, then someone else's beliefs are being programmed to you, transmitted to you, and you're absorbing it. And then that energy then gets passed down to our kids, to our loved ones, to our environment, to the people around us in our bubble. So think about that next time when you're doom scrolling and they're feeding you fear of the next market crash, fear of the great reset, fear of an AI bubble, fear of war, hatred of the opposing political party. They want your attention. They want to change and dictate the way you believe. They want you to live in a predominantly fearful and hateful and spiteful manner because that energy is creating beliefs and our beliefs are creating your realities in little ways. And it is also creating the foundation for the next generation. I feel that is exactly how they want it. They want people angry and resentful and hateful, but also docile and weak, because energy is diverted in so many forms and fashion, and it's not focused because we don't know how to focus anymore.